All right. Hey everyone, I'm Dr. Brooke with Thrive Chiropractic in Ocala, Florida, and I am so excited to be here with you today and introduce you to my guest. Her name is Dr. Angie Pufahl, and she is a chiropractor in Minnesota. We actually went to the same chiropractic college. We were actually there at the same time, and part of me wants to believe that we met, but I'm not sure because I don't remember. But anyway, I would like to introduce you to Dr. Angie Pufahl. She is the founder of Remedy Testing, which is the service that I offer in my office. So welcome. Thank you for joining us. Please take a couple minutes just to share a little bit about yourself, how you came to this thing called Remedy Testing, and we'll go from there.
Super. Yeah. Well, thanks for having me, Dr. Brooke. I'm so honored to be here. And so I'm excited to just share with your community a little bit more about Remedy Testing. It is an amazing service. Obviously, I started the company, so I'm so glad that you are offering the service in your office. A little bit more about me. Like Brooke mentioned, I am a chiropractor. I've been a chiropractor for 16 years. And yes, we were at the same school, and I think a few seminars probably at some point as well. It's so funny how people come back into your lives and you realize that you maybe knew each other from before. So yeah, that's super fun. So yeah, I've been a chiropractor. I've always been very interested in nutrition and helping my clients at a whole nother level. As chiropractors, we know there's lots of stressors that affect our bodies and can affect our brain and spinal cord and how well our nervous system functions. And I say it was about 3 or 4 years into practice, I was starting to realize okay, there's still some patients that are not quite getting the full benefit from chiropractic, and what pieces am I missing? And so I started to look into, physical stressors, chemical stressors, emotional stress, and really trying to figure out and navigate what other things would interest me of what I could share with them that they could also be doing. So they held their adjustments longer. Yes. So it helped overall with their stress. And I wanted to have them be like, I'm not having my symptoms anymore, right? And that is so true with chiropractic with most people. I would say 80 to 90% of people love chiropractic, have fabulous results, feel fabulous. But then there was always that small percentage, that 10% where I couldn't sleep at night because I'm like, I don't understand. I'm doing everything that I'm doing with everyone else. Why are these people getting results and these people aren't?
Yes.
And so that made me do some digging, and I started to look into some nutrition. I started doing what I call, kind of like cookie cutter nutrition. I was like looking up symptoms in a book, what supplement might be good if they're having this symptom. And I started to add some nutrition in my practice. And for the most part, it went okay, but it didn't jive for everyone. I was still like, oh, that's not helping. So that wasn't it. And I ended up at a seminar for some CE hours. And that seminar was on muscle testing. And I didn't really realize it. I was just like, I need CE hours. I went and signed up for this in-person 3-day event. And I ended up learning all about muscle testing and the energy of the body. And that was very intriguing. And I then went on to get additional training with that specific company. And I think it was 2011. I graduated with my master's in nutrition response testing. So I was one of 500 and some people at that time in the United States that had this level of training. And I was muscle testing everyone. I could, use the pressure of their arm, and I could touch different points on their head and touch the different organs and glands and system areas of the body. And then I could get feedback with vials of whether or not they had stressors going on. Well, that brought my practice to a whole new level. And I was then able to give people more answers. But it was very time consuming, not only for myself, but for patients. It takes a lot of time to go through all the vials, to check the organs. And I was getting burnt out in practice. And the only thing that I could think of was what's sucking all my time and energy. And it was those long nutrition appointments. It's not that I didn't want to help them, but it was burning me out. And I actually walked into my office 2 years ago. It was like January 3rd or January 4th after a Christmas break. I did a lot of contemplating for many months, and I just walked in and I quit nutrition. I was just like, I'm done. I just want to adjust you people. You're going to have to figure out this nutrition thing on your own. I can't handle it. It takes a lot of time and commitment. And that same day, I went on Instagram and saw a picture of this. Wow. And I was like, what is that? And so, of course, squirrel, I went and researched the company and found out that there was a company out there that I could actually send in my client's hair and saliva, and they're going to analyze it for me at a cellular level. They're going to read the energy of my client, and they would go and test all the organs, glands, systems of the body and look for all the things that I was looking for, plus more. Plus, they're actually going to take the hair and saliva and find the right match for what nutrition that person should be on. So I was like, how did I not know about this? I just spent $50,000 getting trained in nutrition, and how did I not know about this? So that's where remedy testing came into play. I then developed a company where we hire a private testing facility to run our client samples, and then they provide us the results. So then people like you and I can offer this service to our clients. They can send in their hair and saliva. It gets analyzed. Then they run all the tests. And what happens is they come back with these results, and it comes back with whatever regimen that client should be taking. So we no longer have to guess. Do they need B? Do they need magnesium? Do they have a parasite? Do they have a virus? How well is their immune system working? Are their hormones off? Probably number one question, these days. I think my hormones are off. Are they? So we can actually look at all that. And we do that through sending in our clients' hair and saliva.
Yeah.
So I know that was a lot of who I am and how I got here, but that's the gist of it.
Such an amazing journey. And to think that now, because of you almost quitting nutrition in your practice, that now you've developed this network of chiropractors all across the U.S. who are helping their patients more, which I think is one of the reasons why I'm excited about remedy testing for my practice was, I fought against nutrition for such a long time because I didn't want it to be you have this symptom, here, take this supplement. Yeah. I didn't want it to be just a replacement for, for pharmaceuticals because of the approach that I take is salutogenic. Like, let's support optimal function in your body, not just, we want to get rid of a symptom.
Exactly.
So that's what I love about remedy testing. So tell me a little bit more about the hair and saliva testing. What can a person anticipate when they were to decide to do it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure. Of course. So I brought a couple things so I could actually show you guys today too. Basically, if you decide that you want to go through the testing and have a comprehensive health analysis done that will show you, the details of this report, which I'll explain in a second, it's really simple. It's not a big complicated thing. We don't have to draw your blood. We don't have to collect stool samples, urine samples. It's super simple, pain-free. You can either swing into Brooke's office and pick up a kit. She can ship you a kit so you can do it in the comfort of your own home. And it only takes a couple minutes. So basically, you're going to receive a kit. And with that kit, there is a prepaid postage envelope. So all you're going to do is you're going to take everything, all your samples, put it right in here, seal it, and drop it in the mail. You don't even have to pay postage. It'll ship it right to the testing facility for you. So this is super slick. It'll come with your kit. And inside your kit, you're going to find a few things. Let me grab it all. You are going to find, first and foremost, an ID card. And with your ID card, Brooke's going to have her name and email on there. And then there's also a spot for your name. And then we're going to mark which test you're ordering because there's several different kinds of tests, a follow-up test or a full. but we're going to make sure this ID card is complete. And on the other side, you're going to have instructions. So in case, Brooke went over the instructions with you and sent you home with the kit, they're also here for you again in case you forgot any of this step. So that is in your bag. You're going to fill it out and make sure you put that back in the bag because that has to go with your samples. And then the next thing you're going to see is a sterile test tube. So you can see, you can just break the seal with your fingernail in the dotted line, and there's a cotton swab here. And you're going to pull it out, and then you're going to swab the insides of your cheeks. You're going to go up and down, both sides, spend about 30 seconds doing that. You push it right back in there and seal it, and then you just write your name and date on there. It's as simple as that. You put that in the bag. And then you're going to see a small bag, which you're going to write your name and the date on. And this is for hair or fingernails or a combination of both. So we need about a teaspoon worth of samples. So if you were just to, pile it up, just make sure it's about the size of a teaspoon. So you can just take, a little teeny piece of hair here, I suggest don't take one big chunk off the front, right? That might make your hair look funny. But I usually will go underneath, take a little section, add it to my bag, just grab little teeny pieces. You can also trim your fingernails if you'd like to do that, or your toenails. A common question that we get is, can it be from hair from anywhere on the body? Yes, some males or babies don't have a lot of hair. Okay, you can use arm hair, chest hair, whatever works for you. Another common question that we get is, can my hair be dyed? Yes, your hair can be dyed. Okay, if that dye is affecting your health, we're going to find out in the testing, right? But yes, or you can also brush your hair. So it can actually have the root or not, but we don't need the root of the hair. So most people just trim their hair. And then you put everything in here. And once again, you just put it in the bag. And then the last thing that you need to do is on that ID card, there's either an online form. So you just can go to that link and fill out your health form. Or you could ask Brooke for a paper form. And then you would just send your paper form in the bag as well. Or like I said, you don't have to do both. You could choose the online option. So it's really as simple as that. A couple minutes to do the test, a couple minutes maybe to fill out the online or paper form, put it all in here, seal it, and drop it in the mail. And then the turnaround time, just with how the mail's been this last year, it's usually right around that 3-week mark.
Yes.
The doctor will be notified that your results are in, and they will let you know either to come she'll let you know, come in the office, or she could, do the results over the phone if you don't want to come in, or if you live, somewhere far from Brooke, she can even drop ship you a kit and go over your results over the phone. Mm-hmm. So it's a really nice way for people to find out, where am I at with my health? What are some of the priorities that I should be thinking about for not only now, but future? And it gives a beautiful report. Do you want me to quickly show them the report?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, well, it's going to kind of be in front of my face so you guys can see it. But you can always ask Brooke for a copy or a sample one of these so you can see it up close. But basically, this first page, I'm going to cover my face. This first page goes over the 14 main body systems. And so if I zoom in a little bit closer, you can see it's actually scoring each one of those systems. And there's different colors, and those colors mean different things. Blue is good. Yellow means there's a little bit of stress going on there. Orange means more stress. And then when it gets dark orange or dark red, that's down, like that area is only working in the 30, maybe 40%. So it looks at all the main body systems, the immune system, so important right now, digestive tract system, the endocrine system, respiratory, cardiovascular, your integumentary, locomotor, all the main systems are listed here. And it actually scores you with these cool color-coded wellness wheels. And then right below, it's going to list the top most stressed organs that you have. So we'll actually know, does she have 3 organs that are stressed? Are there 6? What are her most stressed organs contributing to her health not being priority right now, or not being at its best, I should say. The next page, we look at 350 different food and environmental sensitivities. Yes. So I love this page because there are even some healthy foods that you might have a sensitivity to. You might have some sensitivities to fish or meat or some vegetables or healthy nuts or fruit. So it's not only looking at the foods that are not so healthy for us and that cause inflammation, but it's looking at even the healthy stuff. So 350 different food and environmental sensitivities it'll look at. One of the big ones right now, and actually this is my report, guys, is coming back is EMFs. Okay.
Yes,
EMFs are electromagnetic frequencies. We're not going to get into that right now. You can ask Brooke about it, but that means I'm spending too much time around my computers, my phone, and those electric frequencies can affect my health.
Yes.
So ask Brooke more about that if you guys have any questions on that. And then the next section, it's going to go over nutritional imbalances. So we look at 80 nutrients, and we look at amino acids, fatty acids, digestive enzymes, vitamins, minerals, and we'll tell you if we have a deficiency in any of those. It'll tell Brooke on, or any of these on the low range of what would be good for this person. So she can help you raise those levels. And then the next section is the energetic toxins. This is the one that's super important, you guys. It's going to look at over 1,000 viruses, bacterias, parasites, molds, heavy metals, and chemicals. And it's going to actually tell you how many you have and in which category. And that is super important to know, because if your body is not adapting and getting rid of those on its own, that means it's holding on to them and they're harboring in your system. And that's not good. They eat your nutrients. They can wreak havoc on your immune system, your endocrine system. They can live in your spinal cord. Like, those things can be big trouble, right? They can cause symptoms. They can cause illness. And unfortunately, they can cause disease. So super important to find out if you have any of those energetic toxins. And then the next section goes over 30 hormones. So it'll actually look at 30 different hormones, take your hair and saliva, compare it to those hormones, and figure out if any of them are out of balance, either too high or too low. And then the last section, it will actually then, after it runs all the results, take your hair and saliva and compare the energy of your hair and saliva and what you need to thousands of vitamins, minerals, herbs, and homeopathics. And it'll actually keep breaking it down until it finds the exact right customized regimen for each individual. So there's no two people that are ever the same with what regimen, if they choose to, follow the regimen in order to prove this. There's no two people are the same, because it's actually customizing a regimen specific for your needs. So it takes the energy of your hair and saliva, compares that energy to the thousands of biomarkers that I just noted, all the sections it's going to check, and it simply gives us a feedback of where are things out of balance, where are things working well, and what's the priority of what Brooke should be working on right now.
Yes.
And it puts it in a beautiful report for you, and then Brooke sits down, goes over all the findings with you, and helps you decide what would be best for you in moving forward with any type of care plan.
Yeah. That is probably I love this test just as a whole, but one of the things that I've loved for myself is knowing that as I heal, as my body's needs change, as I'm exposed to different things that maybe my body is sensitive to, and doing, periodic testing, the supplements that have been recommended to me have been different with every test that I've done, as things have changed and shifted in my life. So I really, really love that.
Yeah.
Tell me, one question that I think a lot of people have a hard time understanding is this term called bioenergy testing. So they live kind of in the world of, blood tests, and this is what my medical tests look for. And then we say this is bioenergy and it's different. Tell our audience a little bit of a better understanding of what bioenergy is and how this testing is different from traditional medical labs.
Sure, absolutely. So that's a really great question. Well, first and foremost, everything is energy. Everything. So you must understand that first. So this pen is holding a certain energy to it. If we were to look at it under a microscope at a certain level.
Yes.
This phone is holding a certain energy. The chair I'm sitting on is holding a certain energy. The paper has a certain energy. Brooke's hair is holding a certain energy. My body is holding a certain energy. Everything is energy, and everything is vibrating. Whether you see it moving or not, everything is vibrating, even my printer sitting on my console right there. even stuff that's not moving. If we look at it under a microscope, everything is moving. So we're taking the energy of you by taking a sample of a piece of you. So, we're not going to carve out any skin. So we're taking some hair and fingernails, saliva. Okay. We're taking pieces of you and we're running it with bioresonance technology, and that can read energy. It reads hertz range. Okay. All energy is measured in hertz. So it's reading the energy of your hair and saliva, and then it's comparing in their database the hertz range of what a banana is. The hertz range of all these individual parasites, viruses, bacteria, they're already all programmed into the technology. And so all we have to do is take the energy of what you're resonating within your body, compare it to the resonating energy of all of these thousands and thousands of items that have been programmed in already, and seeing where do things match and where do they not match. So I like to explain it like this too, as another example. We all know what X-ray is. You stand in front of a machine and a picture comes out of the machine. How does that happen?
Right.
Energy waves, right? Matched my body or didn't match my body to give the image that gets imprinted on the film behind me. Yes. It's all a transfer of energy. Like when you think about it, like, wow, we just took a picture of her. How did we do that? Even when you think about a photo, taking a picture, how is it taking a picture out here? It's picking up energy.
Yes.
CAT scans, MRIs, those are all blood works. They're all just different forms of testing. I'm not saying one is better than the other, but energy makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Right? Because everything is energy. I don't want to just look at someone's blood. And unfortunately, blood has not always worked real well for, myself included. I've had blood work done. Didn't really tell me the answers that I should have been finding at that time. Whenever I used to do a ton of blood work for my clients, well, it gives me lists of, the names of different things and what the number range is of healthy and if they fell in that range. But guess what? It's never telling me why.
Yeah.
Nowhere in that report does it tell me why is their TSH low? Why are their lipids off? Why is their cholesterol off? Nowhere. I still have to go to my books, look stuff up, try to compare the thyroid number to the liver number to the kidney, and try to make sense of it all to navigate it. And ultimately, it never gives me the answer why.
Right.
This tells us why.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this tells us it's because of the foods, it's because of this parasite, it's because the hormones are off, the nutrition is off. It gives us answers. So I hope that was helpful, but that's so that's how I explain it. It's everything is energy. We can measure energy, and if the healthy range of a banana is 50 to 60 hertz, and when we measure your hair and saliva against that energy range and it doesn't match, we know you have a sensitivity to bananas.
That is very helpful. I sometimes explain to people, we understand the concept of a tuning fork. And if you, have two of the same and you hit one and it starts vibrating, the other one will vibrate.
It'll start vibrating.
Kind of the same thing. If we have, a bacteria or parasite or a food sensitivity or whatever that's affecting how our body is functioning, and we are vibrating with that same frequency or not the same frequency, just depending on what they're looking at, that it's kind of like that tuning fork is the same or not the same and impacting our body's health.
Yep, exactly. That's a great explanation too.
Awesome. Are there any other common questions that you have clients or customers ask about remedy testing that would be helpful for my patients and audience to know?
Yeah. Well, I think I went over some of the hair ones. Hair can be dyed. You can trim it or, brush, get the root. That's probably the most common question. And how much, you just need about a teaspoon worth. I've never had a test come back saying there wasn't enough hair, or you can trim the nails. That's super common question. Another common question is, do I need to stop my medications or nutrition before I do the test? No, please keep taking all of your medications and all of your nutrition. We want to get a snapshot of where you're at right now with what you're currently doing. We don't want you to stop something and get a reading on your hormones because you stopped taking your thyroid hormone 3 weeks ago in hopes to get a better reading. It's not going to give us a better reading. Okay. We need to know where are you at with taking it, because that's something you normally would do. Another common question is, how long do I have to not eat or drink before I do the test, the swab in your mouth?
Yeah.
It's just 1 hour. We suggest that you don't eat or drink anything. Water's fine, of course, but don't eat or drink anything for about an hour. Another common question is this going to tell me if I have any allergies? This is not an allergy test. We're reading the energy, comparing it to the energy of all these foods and environmental things, but we're just looking for where it's resonating or where it's not. So we call this a sensitivity test for that portion. Mm-hmm. You might have a food show up that you actually do have an allergy to. That would make sense. Mm-hmm. But you also might not have a food that you actually have an allergy to show up. And here's why: because you're probably not eating it. And so it's not in your system. Your body's not picking it up. So those are probably some of the most common ones. And again, just how long until I can get my results? It's about 3-week turnaround time. And then Brooke will notify you as soon as your results are in, and then she can go over those findings with you.
One other question that I just thought of is how do we know that like if a person is taking a medication or other supplements, how do we know that these recommended supplements, herbs, homeopathics will not contradict each other?
Interfere. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Or if you're pregnant or breastfeeding or on medications, that's why it's super important that you fill out the health questionnaire completely and honestly, because you're going to note on there any medications that you're on. You're going to note if you're pregnant. You're going to note if you're breastfeeding. Then when the technicians are running your samples, they are looking at your health form too. And so then the great part of this question that you would just asked is, now your audience is going to hear this. We actually have a 3-point check system. So your samples arrive, a technician looks at everything, looks at your health form, processes your samples, and then it gets sent to a second practitioner who double checks the health form. They double check what the first technician found with the initial testing. They help the first technician narrow down the thousands of supplements, right? We want to customize it to you. And then it goes back to the first technician, rerun, rechecked again, and finalizes that last final best synchronized regimen. So we actually have a 3-point check. So as long as you noted it on your form, we'll make sure that we don't put you on anything that's contraindicative. Of course, if you're not comfortable with something, you can always talk to Brooke, but almost 100% of, homeopathics, vitamins, minerals, herbs are very safe. So, but we'll make sure, if you just make sure you note it so we know where you're at.
Awesome. That is so helpful.
Yeah.
I can't think of any other questions. Would you like to share one last little tidbit for the audience before we go?
Yeah. This is what I'll leave you with, you guys. We're in a very, very stressful time right now, and now more than ever, I have seen with not only my clients, but the hundreds of practitioners that I coach and help every week, people are stressed, people are scared, people are still getting sick like we normally do, but there's so much available to you that if you take the initiative, take the steps, look into how to keep yourself healthy, get out of the fear mind, and find people like Brooke to be in your tribe and to collaborate with people that have ways to help you gain health, get your health back, or stay healthy. It's so important. I'll add one quick thing too, Brooke. Not only do we have this full health analysis, but we also have a scan that Brooke has access to called an awareness scan. And this year more than ever, that awareness scan has been pivotal for people because it measures your emotions. And it sounds really crazy. Brooke can share more about it, but we also can look at what essential oils does your body resonate best with? What crystals or stones does your body resonate best with? What thought patterns are happening, whether you're realizing it or not, that are affecting your health? What color is a good color and resonates really well for you right now? And then it will actually take what's going on with you emotionally and find the exact right flower essence tincture for you to take to help balance your emotions. That test has changed more people's lives.
Mine.
I'm not going to say more than this, but I have seen a bigger impact, quicker impact with that awareness scan. So I'm just going to leave you with that. Brooke and I didn't talk about really talking about that, but you guys, you know, the world is really stressed right now. Try not to get sucked into it. Find healthy minded people. Try to stay away from unhealthy minded people because they are pulling you down, making you sick along with them in all different ways, not just physically. And you should always buy a kit from Brooke because listen, if you don't know where you're at with your health, and we only feel 10% of what's going on. So if you don't have symptoms and you're like, oh, I don't need that test, I don't have any symptoms. Wrong.
Right.
90% of the time you are not going to feel a symptom, and there could be something very serious or minor going on. Or maybe we'll get your scan back and it looks really good, but then you'll know.
Yes.
You'll know where you're at. You can check in with Brooke again in a few months and say, let's check it again, because you guys, we're all exposed to life every day. So, you know, you've got to do follow-up too. If you're going to get a test, then follow up again with her a few months with another test. This is something you want to stay on top of. It's like eating healthy or exercising. You don't just get one test and go, well, I found out my results, but I'm not going to do anything about it, and I'm never going to get the test again. But at least I know now that my nervous system is only at 69%, my immune system's at a 49%. Well, if you don't do anything, what good was doing the test?
Right.
And guess what? Things don't usually get better on their own. They usually go downhill because you're coasting and you're not working on going uphill so you can thrive better, be more productive, be healthier, and live a longer, fuller life.
Yes. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time, for your wisdom, and for this amazing thing that we call remedy testing. I appreciate you so much. And thank you all for watching, whether you're popped in on the live or you're watching the replay. If you have any questions for myself or for Dr. Angie, you can just put it in the comments and we will make sure to check them and get back to you. And if you are interested in getting tested, you can call my office or send a message. Our number is 352-299-1285. Thank you so much and have a great afternoon.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.